home never looked so beautiful.
It's going to be a little warmer today, partly to mostly cloudy with a chance of scattered showers and thunder showers, especially this afternoon. Our high today in the mid-70s, right around 75, 76, with wind out of the south at 5 to 15. More scattered showers and thunder showers tonight and tomorrow. We'll drop to 56 tonight, 78 tomorrow. More rain on Friday with a high near 70. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Outside now, it's 55.
It is Wednesday, and it's the noon hour. That means it's time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by the Solon American Legion, Senior Benefits, and Walden Place Senior Living. And here is your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Tommy Lang, for that wonderful introduction here on a beautiful April day right here in good old Johnson County. What a great day it is. I have to tell you, folks, if I sound a little bit tired, it's because I was at the Heartlanders hockey game the last couple of nights, and they go to these overtimes. That's a late night for old people. That's but wow, they did not win the other night in OT, but they won last night in double overtime. Our hockey team is a going operation. They're going to be home Thursday night, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. You really, really need to get out there. These hockey guys, I don't know if they'll win or not, but they are kind of taking the ECHL by storm. These guys are hustling. I'll bet they're tired today after playing 2 hockey games and overtimes. It's a racehorse deal. They got to be pooped, but it was a great time last night. Lots of people there last night. Come on out there tomorrow night, Thursday night, and let's enjoy some hockey. Well, listen, folks, it's time for Senior Talk. It's a great day to be with you here today and have you with me. So see if we can't cook something up here. I'd like to thank each and every one of you taking time out of your busy day, and to those listening to Senior Talk today. And I'll do my best to bring a lot of ideas every week that might cover important aspects of being or becoming a senior, and we'll also have a little time for a little history as well. I've been challenged by Mace up in Minneapolis to threw down the gauntlet talking about something inconsequential as Dairy Queen. I can whip out about a 30 to 45 minute show on just Dairy Queen right here in Johnson County. If he's not careful with me, I'll do that. With no notes, by the way. So that's what we'll do. The things that I might talk about here on any Senior Talk might apply to you. It might apply to someone in your family. It might apply to you and your friends. Maybe to someone with a group that you kind of hang around with and chum around with. It's just stirring things up is what I'm trying to do. Stir things up in a good way to make you think about things that maybe you might consider paying attention to. I got a call this morning. In the last 2 days, I've lost 2 good friends. Both of them kind of like but totally unexpectedly, they kind of went downhill rather quickly. And my friend Mark passed away. I just got that news this morning. That's terrible news to me. And grew up in Coralville, and you read about it in the paper, I'm sure, his obit. And my friend Charlie, who also passed away. You'll read about his obit in the newspaper. These are people who are very near and dear to me, and now they're gone. And it was for no, suddenly they're gone. It took them a while once they got sick, but it didn't take all that long. So those are things that happen. And as a senior, as a friend, I'm going to miss them. I feel bad for them. They're out of the misery, I guess you might say. That's what the only good thing I could think about it. And then from the Senior Talk aspect, I'm hoping that they had both taken the time to get themselves what we call a senior profile, which would include a will. I hope both those guys did that. As a matter of fact, they both did, as a matter of fact. So there's that end of it, too. So you never know. As seniors, we're listening in, and I continue to say that we're coming around the 4th turn or down the back stretch. And some things that are important, you really, really should pay attention to some of these things. I hope you do. Well, my name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm 75 years old, and I'm a real estate broker, and I like to mostly meet and talk and work and deal with seniors. Crazy as that sounds, that's my clientele. It has been for many, many, many years. I help lots and lots of seniors with investment properties. I help a lot of seniors with homes and lease properties. But it's that's my clientele, the senior group, because I know the roads you've been down and the travels and sort of the experiences you've had, so to speak, not individually, but in general speaking. and I know kind of where you want to get and why you want to get there. So feel free to give me a call. I work with the seniors themselves. I work with the seniors with their family members with them. Sometimes I just meet with the family. I meet at my office, at your house, coffee shop. I deal with attorneys. So you and your attorney. I deal with you and your CPA a lot. I deal with the trust departments of banks. Feel free to give me a call. I worked with the bank this morning on a property, as a matter of fact. So that's what I do, and I like what I do, and I hope you would earn the trust. And just sit down meeting with me. Hope I could earn your trust to see if I can help you with any real estate needs you have. And I have a senior line. You can give me a call. I'm at 319-330-5534. 330-5534. Feel free to give me a call. So at this point in Senior Talk, I suggest you grab yourself a nice place to sit down, grab a sandwich and a nice cold root beer, and let's see what we can do here today. And I just first like to point out that the sun is out, and there's actually some heat out there. I get tired of the cloudy and the windy and the low clouds and crappy. We need some sunshine and some heat. That's what will get these farmers back out in the fields now that they've won the battle and got a little rain. They're never going to be satisfied with the amount of rain. We know that. But now if it dries out, maybe those guys will get out there and start planting some corn and beans or whatever they're going to do. So happy to report that the tornadoes, knock on wood, because I shouldn't even talk about this, that the tornadoes did not hit around here, but sad to report that they ripped up a lot of areas in Iowa and in other states. And, we all know those things are absolutely 100% nasty. They kill people, and number one. And number two, they rip up property. They change lives and change all kinds of things. It's just not good. And I'm going to assume that you've made a dedicated effort to keep your important papers in some kind of a fireproof safe of some sort, maybe your will and your abstracts and original family photos, maybe some weapons and some important documents in a fireproof safe. Now, Rex, that tornadoes go through, they've blown cars away and pickup trucks away. My safe could get blown away. That is true. Your safe could get blown away. And if I found it, how do I know my things are going to be in there? Well, they're going to be in there. They might have some mud and water to them. You might have to dry them out, depending on what they are. If they're documents, if they're other items, they'll be in there. But maybe they find 6 of them. Well, perfect time for you to go down to your safe in your property there and get the serial number. I have a serial number recorded. But you could also put some stickers on there. You could do a little paint, just paint a stencil on there. They don't have to put your name on it or anything like that. But you should do something that identify that so you can identify it when someone finds it. These tornadoes are not particular. They'll take my house, if not the one next door, or vice versa. So you have to be ready for them. Well, Rick, yes, we have had tornadoes here. Just think back to the one that took out the Dairy Queen there and St. Pat's Church and the sororities and stuff like that. That hasn't been that long ago. So yeah, we got all right. Matter of fact, a lady once said to me, said, "You recommend that we have a safe for things, but a tornado can blow it away." And I said, well, "That is true, but there's a good chance some of it will be inside the safe, and you should have your name stenciled on the side of the safe. Maybe not your name, but a code, to your street address or something like that. And if you don't have a safe, you can guarantee your items will be gone. Under my plan, if you had a safe, you might find the safe. You might find a whole bunch of your stuff in there. You probably will." But if you don't have a safe, I guarantee you they will be gone. So my brother was talking to me over Easter. I went to my brother's house, kind enough, or dumb enough to invite my wife up to their home. And I was looking to put something, I wanted to set something down, and all the food and the dishes. He said, "Put it on top of the refrigerator." I said, "You mean the office?" He said, "What?" I said, "Don't you remember when we were kids, the top of the refrigerator was the office?" He said, he's younger than I am. He said, "I don't remember that." I said, "Oh yeah, the top of the refrigerator. That's where the insurance papers were. That's where everything was kept up there. Any mail, important mail from the bank, was all kept on top of the refrigerator." Now, the reason it was kept on top of the refrigerator so my little brother and I wouldn't get up on there and and even see it, and B, get up there and we get our butt kicked from here to Wyoming if we did that. We were threatened with that, by the way, so we never went up there. So that's if your office is the top of the refrigerator, shame on you. Let's get organized here. All right. I just have to be honest. The prices for just about everything are high. just about anything and everything that you want. And no apologies. It's the way it is. Been this way for several years now. I'm talking food, cars, groceries, and now we're alerted. Here's my big complaint here today. One of them, just one of them. We've been told that our home insurance will go up an average here in Iowa of 20%. I think it was 19 to 20%, same thing. This will be the third largest increase in home insurance in the United States. Well, why us? Why Iowa? Why don't you go somewhere else and leave us alone? Well, I don't know the answer to this, but most likely because we have been so, quote, inexpensive over the years, which is true. And because we're flyover country, nothing ever happens here, nothing going on here. And so they concentrated their efforts on other areas. But now these tornadoes rip us up, the derecho rips us up, all kinds of things tear Iowa up just like everybody else. So now we're going to take it, as they would say, in the shorts. So a lot of our insurances went up last year, going to go up more this year. 20%, if your insurance is $1,000, it's going to go to $1,200. If your insurance for a building you have is $4,000, going to go up $800. It's still a good deal. Still a good deal. I highly advise you, if you get that letter that your policy is going to go up, I think you should do this. What we did a year ago when I got that letter, I had 3 or 4 buildings in there, and they all were going to go up. I said, well, I'm not going to take this laying down. I'm going to see what I'm getting for my money. Not only that, I want to see what my coverages are. I had some scenarios I wrote down. If our house blows away or half blows away or burns down or half burns down, do we get the for my 20 years on the Corporal Fire Department, we'd take people down to a hotel, or Red Cross would come out, and that's the last we'd see of them as firefighters. But now they took them to a hotel. Well, I wanted to know, does our insurance cover me staying in a hotel? Yes, it does, for quite a period of time. I think it was 30 days or longer. Gives you time to get started. Does my insurance cover a rental car? Yes, it does. Well, I didn't, I probably knew that, but I haven't, you don't read it up. So they went through all that stuff with me, and I made notes, and I put it in the file for each property and online. So if my office blows away, burns down, I also have it online. So you need to do those things too, folks. You need to get with it there. So call your insurance man or your lady and say, we've got this new thing coming in here. And I don't even care if you get an increase in your premium. You should be calling them and have a meeting with them. They're selling you insurance, and you're going to need them when time comes. Maybe, hopefully not, but maybe you're going to depend on them, and you should have a friendship with them and a business or a client relationship with them. So I just think you need to be on the lookout for the increase. We're going to see what happens. The uptick in premiums that's going on all across our country because of all these storms, and they got to pay for it somehow. I think the fires in California are the root problem here for a lot of things going on. I think we're going to end up paying for all that nonsense out there because of what they do out there. Build 87 houses where there only should be 4 houses and stuff like that. So we shall see. I'm just expounding here today. All right. I'm going to ask you a question now. Have you seen the prices of houses these days? I'm in the real estate business, and I kind of have to shake my head. I'm telling you now, folks, you need to have a plan if you want or you need a different house. Check with your banker or your mortgage lender for sure. And there are some attractive rates out there. And don't give up your hopes or desires for a new or new to you house. Investigate the market, the financial market, and see what you can do. So what I'm saying is this. Bob, we've lived here for so long, and now the washer dryer's upstairs, the washer dryer's downstairs, and we've got a 2-car garage. Now we only need a single-car garage, or vice versa. Or the yard's so big we can't take care of it anymore, and it's getting out of whack, and the garden's all overgrown, and it needs new shingles. Now we've got issues. Let's get the heck out of here. Well, where would we go, and what would it cost? So the first way to navigate this, in my opinion, is you can go to, if you have a computer, go to homes.com. Just that easy, homes.com, and click in Iowa City area. You get Iowa City and Corville, a whole bunch of them, and just navigate around. Or another way you can do it is you can get in your trusty little car and go to an open house. Just pick out an open house, pick out 3 or 4 of them. If there are, they're not many anymore because the market's been really good. Quite frankly, the realtor, we didn't have to do it because everything sells. So you might go to an open house just to see what you can get or can't get for your money. It's always a good time to go there. To that this weekend, I believe, is down at the 4-H ground is the home improvement, the national or the home builders big open house deal. You should go down there to see things. Oh, there'd be carpet people down there and floor tile people. Go down there and check some things out. You'll see some neat things. And if you don't want to do that, can't do that, you should go walk through Lowe's someday. You should go walk through Tyson someday. You should go walk through Menards someday just to see the different things that are out there for your home. Well, we're thinking about this. What's my home worth? That's where you call your friendly realtor and you say, what is my home worth? And your friendly realtor, might be me, that's up to you, come over and do a little report, kind of tell you what your home is worth. Okay, now you think, okay, my home is worth this. The homes we were looking at is worth that. I don't know. Well, if we want to do this thing, what's the bank loan? Well, now is the one you need to talk to your banker or your home mortgage people. And there are home mortgage brokers in town, some good ones. And, of course, your banks or your credit union is going to do business with it. You should send a test balloon, trial balloon up with those people to see, hey, if we sold our house, came out here with the $250,000 that we'd like to put back into a house. And, by the way, if you sell your house in which you live, if you live there for 3 out of any of the last 5 years, in your residence, there is no tax. So you come out of there and you've got $200,000 left over after you might have paid off your mortgage, or $250,000 if you sold it and didn't have a mortgage. I'm just blowing here on this now. There's no tax. That is if you are married filing jointly. All right. There are some other stipulations, but for the most of us, you're a single person, it's $250,000. But anyhow, there's a lot of built-in fudge factor there. You come out of there good. So ask your banker what the rates are. How much would I borrow? What would the payments be? So now when and if you go shopping, you know you're armed. You know what you got. You absolutely tell the banker, okay, based on this, we're going to go house shopping. Would you write us a pre-approval letter? And the banker would say, sure. So when you find a house, you call the banker and say, hey, we just made an offer on a house at 123 Main Street. Please write us a letter that we, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, are qualified here at the Acme State Bank. All right, that's the way you do it, folks. Well, that's what needs to do it. This happens every day here in Iowa City and across the country on people trying to buy a house. You don't go shopping. You don't go to Hy-Vee unless you know you got money in your pocket or a little handy-dandy credit card. You do not go house shopping until you've got the backing of your lender. You're wasting the realtor's time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the homeowner who's trying to sell's time, everybody's time. Go do your homework. You'll come out of there feeling a lot better, knowing a lot better about your financial situation. Well, how about this one? Will the Iowa legislature pass legislation that will start the process of lowering property taxes this session? Will they? A lot of talk. Is it all hot air? I don't know. They say no. They say they're going to get started. Well, we shall see. Some of the points of debate. Seniors would have their property taxes frozen, sort of like California has done. That's about the only good thing I think in California at this point. Seniors have to increase. Seniors will be given an increase in the homestead exemption. A big jump up for seniors, well, there'll be another jump for seniors. We're up to, $6,500 we got January 1st if you're 65 and older, and they would propose to take that to $12,500. I think the same thing for veterans, of course. Increase in assessments for seniors. Decrease in assessments for seniors. Increase in veterans' amount of assessed value exemptions. They're starting to hit some really good stuff here. One plan would be for all residential owner-occupied homes to get a $50,000 rollback in the assessed value. So your house is assessed at $200,000. They'd immediately take $100 or $50 off. You're now at $150,000. That could backfire. I'm not sure that's a good deal. We shall see. That could, in fact, not lower your taxes one penny. We shall see. Well, $50,000 off my assessment, it's got to yield that. Well, it could start with it, but even if they take $50,000 off your assessment, and then you vote for a school bond issue or a swimming pool issue or a rec center issue, anything like the jail issue, where are they going to get the money? Right back to your taxes. So I suggest you carefully study any proposed local bond issues up for a vote, whether that be whenever it is for whatever it is. If you're in that area that they're going to school or anything like that. I don't care how you vote. It's your business how you vote. You should carefully look at that, listen to what they say, and read about it and ask questions. How will the passage of the new rec center or jail affect your assessed valuation? How will it affect your taxes? Will it increase your assessment? It will increase your assessment and or taxes for 20 years or so. It's not like, oh, we paid an extra $200 this year. It would be for 20 years. Extend that out, folks. You should really consider the product being considered if whether or not it's of value to you. Bond issues for new public properties will and most always cause the increase in your assessment and increase in your taxes in the end game. So, do some research, listen and read the proposed financing for those projects and see how they could affect you and take a look at how they will do so. And if a bond issue comes to a head, a local table for voter consideration, you need to consider it. All right. Well, here's some hotsy stuff. This Friday, from 4:30 to 8:30 is the first of the year, the Class C Chassis Car Cruise. Now, it's a car cruise. They call them a car cruise, but they're not driving around town. You drive your car to the site. It's called a cruise. You get to cruise your car out to the site. And it's a static. We call it a static car show, static car cruise. In other words, you don't go anywhere. You drive out there, and then you're done. You don't drive around. It's free, and lots of old cars and trucks and sometimes motorcycles and things like that. And you don't need to have an old car. Just come on out, go on out there. The Corwin Mall. It's across from Chili's and the Red Lobster. It's all free. It'll be this Friday, 4:30 to 8:30. They have outdoor music going on, oldies music. It's just a good time to see maybe the car you had like in high school, or the car your brother had, or a car your folks had. They'll all be out there. Come on out and take a look at the car. It's the end Friday of the last Friday of every month. So this Friday, the Class C Chassis Car Show. All right. See you there. Well, a senior lady advises this. Our family owns a good-sized farm here in eastern Iowa. We have had a lot of inquiries into selling. We own it in a family trust that my parents set up. They're gone, and it left to us kids. Can we sell it if it's in a trust? The answer is yes. Now, possibly. I say that because you'd have to read the trust. The papers of the trust might say you can sell your portion of it. You could sell it. There are 5 of you kids, and you're a 1/5. You can sell your portion most any time. Ha-ha! But in that trust agreement, it might say your siblings have the first chance to buy you out. So the answer is if somebody down the street wants to buy it, well, yeah, we'll sell that. You better be careful. You better read your trust papers. Let's say it's not in a trust, that you own it. Your parents left you the farm, and somebody wants to buy it. You could sell that all day long. Let's say that your parents left you the farm or a house or anything else to you and your brother, just you and your brother, or you and your sister, 2 of you. And you think, yeah, we'll sell that. Well, you can't speak for the other person. You will need it in writing from the other person sooner or later on this deal. You cannot sell it alone. If you're married, you cannot sell a property of your own. It's called dower interest, D-O-W-E-R. You're married, and Bob says, well, we're selling this place. We're going to move to Florida. And Mrs. Smith says, no, we're not. Well, Bob cannot sell that house unless Mrs. Smith signs the paper. Now, there may be divorce papers signed sooner than later. I don't know that. I've been involved with lots of things like that, folks. But it takes 2. It takes 1 to buy. Old Bob Smith can go buy a duplex or a 12-plex this afternoon. True story. But once he owns it, he can't sell it without Mrs. Smith signing the papers, too. That's for married couples. Now, if you're in a trust, the same thing would apply. You and your 3 brothers have this farm, and you want to sell your portion, or one of your brothers wants to sell theirs. More than likely, there's what they call a buy-sell agreement in there. You would have to deal with your brothers. They get the first, or the right of first refusal, meaning they have the first shot at it. You quantify it. In other words, you put the appraised value on your share. Your share of the $1 million is $250,000, and somebody has to pay. If they want to take you out, they got to pay you $250,000, or the appraised value, whichever is greater. Now, it might be stipulated in the agreement how much they're going to pay. You just never know. So the answer is, yeah, you can sell it, but you got to read the rules. That is for sure. On the same vein, a senior man asked me this: what is a land trust? Here's this. Here's what he said before I could answer. He said, I have a pretty unusable area of my farm. It is perfectly suited for ducks and wildlife and things like that. And he says, I really don't want to see it ruined or, if you will, farmed. So I said, well, here's what you need to do. I go online or, if you can, read about land trusts. And the land trusts are a big deal, more and more so all the time. There is one here in Johnson County. A lot of people have taken the time to say, I don't want this farm improved, or I don't want this farm changed. I don't want anything that you can deed, what they call deed restrict. You can sell your house, but it cannot be sold to a gas station. Cannot ever have a church on this property. Anything, you can deed restrict it all you want, as long as the buyer agrees to it. It's in writing. You can do whatever you want with it. There's the thing called the Burr, B-U-R-R, Burr Oak Land Trust here in Johnson County, and they'd be happy to meet with you and discuss those things. So I encourage that gentleman to go down and talk to them. Go online and read about a land trust and call the Burr Oak Land Trust. Their office is down on Sturgis Corner. Now, Sturgis Corner would be at the corner of the bypass, Highway 6 East and Highway 1 West and Riverside Drive. So if you're on Riverside Drive and you come to the Village Inn, the land trust is in the building right next to the Village Inn. That's about as simple as I can make it. Wander in there. There's no fee. They'll be happy to talk to you about it, show you pictures of what they've got, give you some directions to go see some land that's in a trust. And what you're doing, you're tying it up for under different programs, but for the trust is you're putting it into a trust. Your land's not going to go anywhere. And they can talk about the management thereof. They can talk about, if we had that in the trust, we would probably put a fence here or there, or we might propagate that with some, you say it's good for ducks. Maybe we could go in there and plant some rye. I'm just thinking out loud here. Corn or suet, things like that. Could be a very interesting topic for you. And what can you do with the land trust? You can also then, if you do that, you should go down and sit down with the Johnson County or the Iowa City assessor, depending where your property is, and meet with them as well. It's fairly involved. It's a legal thing once you do that. You'll need an attorney, and maybe the Burr Oak Land Trust or any other land trust groups probably help you with the legal end of that. In fact, I know they do. So there are special deductions on the sale of rental properties. There are special deductions on Burr Oak land or any land trust through the Iowa Assessor's Office. You've got some interesting things there, sir. So good luck to him. Well, a senior lady is asking and advising this. I lost my husband 4 years ago. I'm now accustomed to living alone and being alone. She said, I don't see my friends as often as I used to. They're still couples, and I guess they don't want to be around so many single people. It's the only thing I can think of. I assume I have the right to sell my house and a couple of rental properties. And I said, well, most likely. I said, I assume you and your husband own the properties and not with partners. Oh, she said. I said, I make my assumption that you told me you have, sell your home, and if you have a rental property, we do. She said, we have two. I'm assuming that you own them together. Well, you probably own your home with you and your husband. You can sell that all day long. If you have duplexes, maybe your husband had an LLC, he and his brother-in-law bought some properties. It'd be the same thing as the one we just talked about. You'd have to check out any rules of that little partnership. You kind of need to go a little slow with things and don't rush into saying, yeah, we can do that, and get that abstract out and have it brought up to date, and you find out it's owned by Bob and Bill Rental House Properties Partnership or LLC. Now Bob and Bill have to agree to it, and Bill, your husband is gone. You got to work with Bob. Maybe they had an agreement that one of them can buy it, a buy-sell agreement between the parties. See how legal this can get in a big hurry? It really, really can. That's why you need to know these things and need to stir the pot here for you and figure it out. So if you and your brother-in-law, you and your buddy have an LLC and you're buying properties all around town, which people do, we all know that, you need to, and now your husband or other has passed away, now you're the partner, you need to find that out, how and if you can sell it. I think these are all valid things for your consideration. So, well, if you read the papers locally, the Iowa City council is considering looking at two finalists for a, we call it dirt in the real estate business, for a lot, we're going to call it, for the vacant lot downtown, a piece of dirt downtown. It's next to Barbara's Bake Shop on East Washington Street. How's that do? A couple doors east of the Varsity Theater. You might know it as the Astro. Across the street from the Engler, on that corner. Across the street from the west from the old Iowa City Post Office. Okay, there's a lot. It used to be what? Well, it used to be the fire station. It used to be City Hall. It's on the northwest corner of Lynn Street and East Washington Street. Right downtown. You all know where it is. It was the First National Bank drive-through lot for years and years and years. That's the parcel we're talking about. And the city of Iowa City has two proposals. They turned down the 13-story project there, combination of apartments and condos and things like that. They turned that down. So now there's two on the board. And if I recall, I just read this the other day, there's two on the board. I think one, and I could be wrong on this, but I think one was a 7-story. And I think one was a 4-story or something like that. And they're different in what they bring to the community. And so Iowa City is contemplating those. But here on Senior Talk, Iowa City, it was Iowa City's third city hall. It was erected in 1881 at the corner of Washington and Lynn Street. The present location at that time was First National Bank and parking lot and drive-through. Wow. The building was ready for occupancy in January 1, 1882. And if you remember that had the great big spire on it. If you looked at it from the south, looking at it from Washington Street side, a great big tall spire-looking thing, and it had a big clock, and it had a bell up in there. And ladies and gentlemen, the whole thing cost $19,000. Only 9 months after the city administration moved into that building, it was almost destroyed by fire. The loss in 1882 was $17,000, of only which $10,000 was covered by insurance. So see, they had insurance issues clear back then. Wow. Ironically, the fire had started from a gas jet left burning under the hose drying rack at the fire station, for God's sake, which was a standard procedure to dry hose after fire. Well, tell you what, they still dry hose today in this world, only they don't have that kind of an operation. The old City Hall also housed the fire department until the present Central Fire Station was built down at the Civic Center. And I've heard rumblings that they need more space down there. I don't doubt it. The fire station and the police both need new places, so maybe I'm just blowing here now, folks. Maybe the police and fire move out of there and go somewhere else. Did I say bond issue? And get off the main drag there on Gilbert Street, and maybe the bookkeeping department and all those places need more room. I guarantee you they probably do. So I think in the next 3 to 4 years in Iowa City, you'll see a bond issue for a new fire station and or police station. I'll bet you $1 on that. That was built by Sheets and Giesberg down there for $9,925. They had in the building, and the whole thing of the lot and everything was, what did I say, $19,000. Iowa City's first city hall was the Leakin Home at 115 North Gilbert. Now, when I say these things, I totally and fully expect you and encourage you to drive downtown, drive past that lot. Oh, Rex's been there a million times. Drive down there now and envision, we'll say, a 4 to 6 to 8-story building there. All right, envision that. And then I want you to drive up to 115 North Gilbert Street today. Old large red brick house. That was Iowa City's first city hall. And when they moved down across from on Washington Street, they were there for 80 years. And now they're over, of course, in the Civic Center. When did they move to the present fire station and Civic Center? When? 1962. The old building down there had 23 feet high ceiling, and the mayor's office and the marshal's office until a police station was erected just to the north. From the fire station that the fire trucks came out facing east. They came out facing the senior center, and they had articulating doors. Now, the downtown Cedar Rapids main fire station is articulating doors. They open like an accordion rather than go up. Corporal Fire Station, the rest of them have the doors, overhead door like you have in your garage. The Iowa City Fire Department had wooden doors with windows, and they were articulating, and they weren't automatic, so they had to have a guy get off the fire truck before he got on and open up those doors. All right, that was pretty cool. It was that way when I was the kid. And then the fire department, the firemen slept upstairs. But right to the north of that, between there and the alley, the alley, the old funeral home that was down there, Donahue, and then later Donahue Lindsay Funeral Home, that's where the police station was. True story. The council chambers on the second story took about 3/4 of the area, and the council members and city officers were separated from the benches and the general public by a low balustrade, which is the low, it's like in courthouses they have that. For 50 years, the Iowa City Engineers offices were on the second floor. Wow, pretty neat deal. So that's what happened downtown. Now they've got more things up there. My uncle was the fire chief in Iowa City, Adrian Rittenmeyer, and his 2 boys were my cousins, and one was right at my age. So they lived up on East Fairchild Street. So when I would go to Iowa City and meet up with my cousin, go downtown and visit Barbara's bake shop, his kids, get a cookie. That's a true story. We would go to the fire station, and when he was on duty, this would be in the summer, he would be there and go, "What? What do you little creeps want? You know, what the heck are you guys doing?" Well, we were wondering if, all right, one time. And so he'd let us run up the stairs and slide down the pole one time. And by the way, that pole is over at the fire station where it is now. It's right there right now. Do you remember how it got there? That may be a story for another day, but the demo was held by Max Yoakum, and Max Yoakum took everything, his contract, he got everything. He got the pole, and so everybody raised a big snit around town, and Max said they're not going to sell the pole. What Max honestly did was he gave it to the fire department. Now maybe they paid a little bit for it, I don't know. It's hanging on the wall down at the main fire station. Go for a walk down there, and when the door's up, and just announce yourself and go in and see if they give you a 10-cent tour. Aren't we having fun? Well, we just went downtown for a little tour there. Well, you know, none of us ever know about our tenure here on the planet. I lost 2 friends in the last couple of days. No guarantees by the good Lord were ever granted. So knowing that as seniors, we are headed down the back stretch, I advise the following mindset. I want you to consider doing all you can while you can, whatever it is. Do all you can while you can. You want to burn the candle at both ends. That's your business. Go to it, whatever it is. Biking, walking, hiking, sitting in a chair, reading a book. Whatever you want to do, folks, do all you can while you can. So, next week we're going to talk about land scam. What? Land scamming. And yes, it can take place and has taken place right here in Johnson County. I'll tell you how one of them got headed off, if I can recall the details, and I'll tell you about how the owner walked in right in the middle of a scam going on one of their own properties and thwarted the whole deal. So that's the story. So do all you can while you can. Cheer the Hawks on. We'll see you at hockey on Thursday night, tomorrow night out at Corwith Extreme Arena. It's a great time. Take care. I'm so glad you're a senior and still hanging in there. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. This is Rex Brandstatter saying so long.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you